Ms. Bryant, but we'll go ahead and call this CRA meeting to order Thursday, June the 3rd, and we'll begin with our first item on the agenda, financial update, project tracker lease.
Yes, sir. Those are included for your information. Just on a project update, I want to point out that our 5 Points Roundabout has been reprogrammed for the upcoming fiscal year 22. So this is the Lake Beulah Gateway near Bonnet Springs Park. And then we've got West 14th Street sidewalk project is completed and under budget. So I'll just point out a couple of things that we've recently finished up that came in under budget. So kudos to the team for getting those done under budget. The Kentucky parking lot improvements that we had to complete associated with our House 820 lease addendum, that's complete and under budget. The shared use path, Lake Parker, is complete and under budget. And then we are tracking on budget for 114 East Parker. If you haven't driven by, there are walls and it's gone vertical there, so we're pacing and on track with that as well. And then on the grant side, Robinson Cowles project that came before you last year, the renovation of the office space on North Florida Avenue is completed as well. And then the new EDGE grant that was recently approved, we have 4 new grant requests. The applications are under review. So very active, and then Damaris will give an update to you all on the Dixieland Art Infusion and the associated facade improvements a little bit later in the meeting.
Excellent, excellent. Next item is housekeeping. Any?
No, sir. I know that as you all come in, there are annual reports that are on the table. So the annual reports that you have are from last year and this year's most recent fiscal year closing annual reports. Please take those with you. We didn't get to sit face to face and provide you last year, so just want you all to have those and be able to look at the work that you all are associated with. And we've got a lot on the table this year, so we expect it to be nice and full next year as well.
Excellent. All right, next item is the old business of approving the minutes from April the 1st. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
Moved, and is there a second?
Second.
Moved, properly second, that we approve the minutes as presented. All those in favor, let it be known by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. Minutes approved. Thank you so much. New business, the 2020 Independent Financial Audit. We received that report, and then we'll accept the presentation.
Well, there's no presentation on the audit. It's included in the report. It's an independent financial audit, which is required by statute, and we complete the audit every year at the same time the city completes its financial audit. And so we go through the rigors of that process, and we have a clean audit, and so that is included. Just need that to be accepted as presented by CRO.
We have motion for acceptance.
Also moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and properly second that we approve the financial audit as presented. All those in favor, let it be known by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. Audit accepted. Thank you so much. The next item on the agenda is the Orange Street Development TIF agreement. And that will be presented by D'Ariel. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon, board members.
Good afternoon.
I'll be presenting the TIF request for the Orange Street development. 725 East Orange LLC has submitted a request for TIF reimbursement for the properties located at 721 and 725 East Orange Street and 0 Lake Avenue. Jason Lewis also received TIF approval for the Lemon Street Apartments at our October 2020 board meeting. With this request, they will be doing new construction and site improvements. These improvements will be on the properties that are located within our downtown CRA's Garden District. This 40,000 square foot site previously contained a 1925 two-story single-family house, as well as a 1920 one-story single-family house, both of which have been approved for demolition at the January 28th, Design Review Committee meeting. As you can see, Both of these properties have been poorly maintained for the last 30 or so years. And these are images of the two-story structure that has already been demolished. In lieu of demolishing the single-story building, Jason is working with a private citizen to relocate this house to a vacant lot on Lime Street for restoration. And these are images of that house. The developer is proposing the construction of 5 three-story buildings with a total of 32 apartments. There will be 16 one-bedroom and 16 two-bedroom units. The apartments will have 40 off-street and 8 on-street parking spaces. So these next few slides will just be some images of the development and the floor plans. You'll see up here in the top right is going to give you an aerial view of what the site will look like. Down in the bottom right is a view from one of the porches where you'll see they're kind of looking north down Lake Avenue. And then here in the bottom left, they're standing on Lake and looking south at the development. These are floor plans for the first floor, second floor, third floor. The total assessed value is $132,141, and improvements are estimated to be $3.7 million. So as you see, these improvements clearly pass or exceed the 50% investment requirement for the current assessed value. Staff is proposing the standard 5-year TIF at 50% reimbursement of the tax increment from year 1. After 5 years, the applicant would receive a total of $109,374,000. The developer is requesting consideration for a modified 5-year TIF with 100% reimbursement for years 1 through 3 and 80% for years 4 and 5. Those will total $248,000. Staff recommends approval of the standard 5-year TIF increment financing for properties located at 721 and 725 East Orange Street and 0 Lake Avenue. Our applicant, Jason Lewis, was unable to be here in person, but he is on the conference line, and we'll allow him to speak to the project and his request for the modified TIF.
Mr. Lewis, are you with us?
Yes. Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Sorry,
you loud and clear.
in person, as I thought it was going to be virtual, and then changed recently to in person. First, I want to say thanks for considering my TIF application for this project. As you saw in my letter of request, there's been significantly higher costs associated with developing this particular parcel. 1, because of the land cost, and 2, because of the soft cost. One of the challenges in building smaller infill apartments are the soft costs tend to be the same when building 20 to 40 units as when you're building 100 units or more. We're currently under construction on my first development on Lemon Street, which you approved a standard TIF that I'm grateful for. And as mentioned, the costs have gone through the roof for that particular project, which I'm currently trying to mitigate. I do want to point out that I made a conscious effort to hire companies based in Lakeland for my projects. The Lens Group as architect, Miller Construction as the builder, and Straight Up Realty and Property Management as a property manager. My intention is to build 2 or 3 of these types of projects every year for the next 10 years in Lakeland. And some projects need a little more help than others, and this is one of those projects. Hence the reason I'm asking for this modified TIF agreement. So, thanks again. I appreciate your consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis. Do any of the board members have any questions for Mr. Lewis after hearing from him?
So, Mr. Lewis, this is Corey Peppo, one of the CRA board members. I know we've been reluctant to step outside of our standard TIF in the past, and so I was brainstorming ways when we might be able to extend an olive branch to you. Would it be helpful if the dollar amount was the same, but we just timed it differently with maybe 100% TIF the first 2 years, 50% TIF in the third year, and then no TIF thereafter? So it's the same dollars from a city perspective, but the timing would give you the ability to take advantage of, inflation and lease rates and stabilize the property before you have to pay any of the property taxes. Is it helpful as far as a timing perspective, or would that not make a difference?
We said 100 the first 2 years and 50 years 3 and 4. Did I hear that correctly?
Just 50 year 3. So basically what the standard TIF is 50% for 5 years, so 250%. So yeah, 100% years 1 and 2, 50% year 3. So it's the same dollars from the city perspective. It's just the timing at which, it might be off a little bit just because of changes in property taxes, but it'd be similar dollars, just front end loaded, so you get all the benefit in years 1 and 2 while you're leasing up the property and stabilizing the rent roll.
Gotcha. Whatever you guys are willing to do, I'll be grateful for. So if, probably timing, could that help? Yeah, probably a little bit.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any more questions from board members?
So I think it will require a policy change on our part, but I'd like to make a motion that we approve a TIF of 100% in years 1 and 2, followed by 50% in year 3 for Mr. Lewis's project.
Second.
It's then moved and properly seconded that we adjust the TIF to 100% the first 2 years and 50% for the next 3 years.
And do we need to make this a policy change that we can give up to, the same dollar amount in any time frame over a 5-year period for the future applicants? Or does that have to go through city commission, or?
So the guidelines that we follow are the ones that were previously approved in 15 and 16. So prior to 15 and 16, it was a sliding scale from 100% TIF over 10 years down to 0. So 100%, 10% declining down to 0. And so some of that, the desire was to bring that into shorter term, and then also to provide less TIF out in that regard. So just after some conversation, I spoke to the city attorney, and assistant city attorney is here with us today. It's not really a policy change, but we would need to tweak the guidelines if there's an intent to continue along this path in the future. Meaning if the board wants to allow for the changes in the TIF reimbursements over the 5-year period, it would be something that you'd have to certainly direct staff to go back and add some changes to the guidelines within what we currently operate from. So, and just for clarity, Mr. Chair, it sounded like the recommended or the motion was for 100% years 1 and 2, 50% year 3, and then 0% thereafter in years 4 and 5.
Correct.
So it would not exceed the dollar amount that is presented before us.
Correct.
So is that appropriate with it?
If I could just add to that, Mr. Chair, that the guidelines do have a built-in a deviation that's allowed. It says that the board can make a judgment to deviate from the criteria. So it's built in that you have that consideration. But when I was talking with Elise about it, if the board is routinely deviating from the guidelines, then it may be worth it to take another look at them and see whether or not they should be adjusted.
Okay.
But there is some flexibility built in.
So we can make the motion and enact this at this meeting.
Okay. So it would be appropriate. All right, so it has been properly moved and seconded, is that correct? There was a second?
Yes.
All right, now for discussion. Any board members have any discussion on the motion? Is there any public comment? Present or phone? None?
No.
Excellent.
Because he has several more projects to do you think that we'll have to do this each time?
That's a good question. Have you put in additional applications?
So we do not have any pending applications from Mr. Lewis or any other applicants at this time. And so we would we would need to do this on a case-by-case. All TIF requests do come before the board anyway, so even if we were presenting a standard 5-year 50%, it would still come to the board.
Excellent. All right, well, we are ready to vote. All those in favor, let it be known by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay. Mr. Lewis, it's been approved. Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate your consideration and look forward to doing more development projects in Lakeland.
Excellent.
Likewise, thanks for your time today.
Looking forward to working with you. Appreciate you.
Take care.
Have a great day. Thanks. Bye now.
You too. Bye-bye.
Excellent. Thank you so much, DRL. Great presentation. Now, next item on the agenda, any discussion items we have? Elise?
Sorry. No, sir, we have no discussion items today.
All right, next agenda item, the update on Dixieland Art Infusion. Maris will present. They can share with these kind of meetings. Go ahead. Learn that from you. Is it the best one?
Good afternoon, board members.
Good afternoon.
I'm just going to take you on a quick little walking tour of our Dixieland Art Infusion right now. This is our current mural that kind of kicked off the mural program. It's located right by Southside Cleaners. And so let me begin. Our first project is actually located in the downtown district. We currently have 3 in the downtown district. This one is Stationary Loft. They propose to have a mural located right here on this wall off of Traders Alley. Our next project is Swan Brewing, and this owner, he's actually going to hire the artist separately, and will also incorporate not only our mural that we will be paying for, but he is also going to be paying for an additional mural on his property. So it will have a mural on the front, on the fence, and in his little, I guess, venue area. Our third mural in the in the downtown district is the medical clinic right off of Lime. This property, we consider this one as our gateway to Dixieland, so I'm very excited about this one. They are going to do paint, awnings, and a mural. So far, we do have some renderings, so we're going to refresh the paint and add a more modern awning to the building. That's okay. Southside Cleaners, actually, they just, we refreshed their paint, and that was completed in April. Their total paint that we supplied them was just a little over $5,900. 360 Unlimited, they also refreshed their paint, and they will be having a mural installed. The artist did provide a concept, and he's also the same artist that created the Southside Cleaners murals, so he's kind of coordinating them together so that way they, people take their photos, they can do a little walk around. Low Country Vintage is right next door to 360 Unlimited, and that mural was completed back in March for just a little over $10,000. The Artman Group, they have decided that they would like to do paint, awnings, and a mural as well. The mural will be located on their south side of their building, and we do have a rendering of what their building paint and awnings, updated awnings would look like. So this is what the architect had provided us. Lakeland Foot and Ankle, they are located actually just right south to the Artman Group. They will also have paint awnings and murals. The owner is also going to utilize the facade grant for installation of a new sign for their building. And we did have a rendering for this property as well. So they're going to have a sun-style awning, and the sign is a little bit difficult to see in this image, but it's shaped as a foot, so it gives it a little bit more character of the Dixieland area, very typical for the area. Reese Cliff Restaurant is also going to have a refresh of paint and a mural. The owner is utilizing the facade and infill grants as well, so they're getting a full picture for the area. Dixieland Import Arts Auto Parts, they're going to have paint awnings and a mural, and we're still in the planning phases for that. Quick Print is also going to have the same paint awnings and mural installed on the north end of the wall. Subs and Such, they are getting paint awning and a mural as well. The owner is going to utilize the facade grant to refresh their current sign, because their sign is actually going to be landmarked. So they're not going to replace it, they're just going to refresh it. And this here is the mural mock-up that was provided for Subs and Such. Reflection of Excellence is also having a paint and mural update. This is the mural mock-up that was provided for the property. Swim Bike Shop, they will be having a mural installed. They did get a refresh of paint that was completed last month, just over over $6,000. And this paint is actually scheduled to begin next week. This is their storage unit. The Swim Bike Shop's storage unit is right next door, and they had a refresh of paint as well. And I do have a little image of their paint. So now they have a fresh coat of paint, which was completed back in April for just a little over $6,000. This is just a mural mock-up. It's still in the works, but we'll see what comes about. The Waller Group is also going to have a mural. The artist is working on the rendering for that for this particular wall. Tucker Southside will have a paint and mural as well, and that's still in the concept phase. And Tracy Company Hair Designs, they actually received a refabric of awnings back in February for just a little over $1,000, and their mural is currently in the concept phase as well. And that was it. That was our
Thank you,
tour.
Damaris. Excellent. Is there any comment? Yes.
Thank you, Damaris. How many artists do we have involved in this right now?
Currently, I have 8 that have confirmed that are participating in the program. I have 30 that have applied. I just need a little bit more owners to apply as well. So as soon as some more owners are, a little bit more willing to participate, I think it would start picking up a little bit more. I have gone to each business door to door promoting it, but they're just they're just very hesitant to do it. I'm not sure why, but they are.
I was going to ask, what do you think that is? What are you hearing from people who are reluctant?
A lot of them, I think they're just fearful that they're going to still have to pay something, and I keep reiterating, that the paint and the mural they don't have to pay anything. And I think they are just kind of dumbfounded at the fact that they don't have to pay anything. They're just like, sure, what else do I have to do, So I don't know. Like I said, I have gone to these people more than once. They probably are tired of seeing me, but yeah, I just need more applications. So.
Just from speaking with a few property owners, I can share some concerns that I've heard is, you get it put up once, and now you're responsible for art that may be beloved by a portion of the community, maybe not so much by another portion, and as it fades over time, are they responsible for ongoing maintenance? That is a concern several property owners are concerned about. Or if, 25 years from now, are they able to paint over it if they so choose to, or do they lose access to that wall of their property? So,
yeah. You see, and that we have it for 5 years is what we tell them, so we ask them to not paint it over until at least 5 years. And then from there, it is up to them what they would like to do. But within that 5-year time frame, the artist can refresh it if it needs to be refreshed. And so we have in our agreement a stipulation that the artist can come to us and say, okay, this mural needs to be refreshed, and we'll give them a stipend of $500 to refresh it. So.
Well, I'll pass that along. That may assuage some of the fears, because I think a lot of people have memories of, I remember there was much ado about, murals coming off of old shopping centers, and some people wanted it gone, other people didn't, and you as a property owner, you just don't want to be at a position where you're offending half of the potential customers and/or tenants of a building, while pleasing the others as you choose to paint a building or not paint it.
Yeah, and that's why I tell the owners, they have full creativity range when they speak to the artist, and I try to have a meeting with them all together, so that way they fully understand, everybody's on the same page, that whatever theme that is discussed is not only going to be okay with the city, but it's okay with the business owner's future, not just the current.
Yeah.
And so, which is why all of these, the business owner basically gave each of these artists, okay, this is what I would like to see, and then the artist tries to recreate it as best as possible. And so far, I have had, 2 artists that did not meet what the owners want. And so they're still working on their stuff, and I've even had an artist who backed out. So, and it has happened. They just like, I'm not gonna be able to completely do that just yet. So I try to let them know, that they have full capability of saying yay or nay to whatever is on there.
And if I may, just kind of add to that, part of this is when we went into it, we said, okay, we knew that there would be some disagreements relative to what the property owners and the artists, there may be some creative differences. And so we wanted to have opportunities and several samples for the property owners and the business owners to look at. And then also long-term, our goal is really so that the owners along the corridor kind of own this process, and long-term, they just start to get refreshed or they get repainted. And so, ideally, one of the arts groups throughout the city will come in and say, we really like where the program is headed, so let's figure out some type of maybe festival that is associated with this, and we can do a call for artists outside of Lakeland and bring in more artists to come in and refresh some of the canvases and provide, some different new artwork down the road. So we're hoping that it's a great start to something that gains traction and takes off on its own.
That's a great idea. Thank you. Appreciate the clarification. I'll share it with anyone I can.
Oh, please do. That'd be great.
Fantastic update. Any other comments or questions?
And I do have a comment. I just want to say that the mayor's has done a phenomenal job, organizing and managing these projects. I don't know that we've ever had 18 active projects within a 1 mile, not radius, or just along a 1 mile corridor, and a lot of them are back to back to back. So as much as I know the amount of work that she's put into organizing this, she's still asking for more participation. And so I think collectively, as a community, I hope that folks do come in and really take advantage of this, because it will make a huge difference along the corridor. And we do think that once folks start to realize that the art is there, they'll get out and start to walk within these spaces. So thank you for all your hard work.
Excellent, thank you. That's all for you. Thank you. And if there are no other further additional requests that you all have, let me take this opportunity to say, this is going to be my last physical meeting to be with you all. And so it's been my privilege to share in this chair. I want to thank Brandon for his support, and of course you, Elise, for leading, and of course this fellow over here, Corey, for showing us how it's done. I appreciate it. But let me say, this is the best staff in the world, so you guys get a 100 in my book. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And all the board members, you've been fantastic. I'm going to be sad to say goodbye to you. But next month, I will be at our general conference for our worldwide denomination. And so we'll be in Orlando, so I won't be here to be a part. However, I looked at the schedule. I will be able to have an alternate delegate sit in my chair from 3 to 4, so I can appear by phone or go to meeting however you will allow me to do that. I can do that. But I want to tell you now, face to face, I appreciate all of you, and I thank God for your commissioner coming aboard, really lifting us, so I thank you for that. So appreciate you. Look forward to working with you in the future. It will be sad to depart from this board. I think we do excellent work for the community, and any way I can support you, you have my complete support. So thank you. So with that being said, we will adjourn. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Adam.
Excellent. Appreciate you all.
Yeah, you too, Brandon.
Yeah, great. Yeah.